Welcome, and thank you for joining today's Community Area Planning Workshop. In this meeting, we'll discuss why we're here, what we're trying to accomplish, how this work affects your community, and how you can shape the work today. So, why are we here today? We're here because our community continues to experience rapid growth, and we want to ensure future growth benefits everyone. In 2021, our city adopted the Charlotte Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan, which defines our 20-year vision for growth and change in Charlotte. The plan was developed with input from diverse stakeholders and prioritized access to housing, jobs, services, and amenities for all residents. After adoption, the plan's recommendations for future development were translated to specific geographies in the Charlotte Future 2040 policy map. Now it's time for the next step in putting the plan into action, called Community Area Planning. This effort will provide more detailed guidance for your community and is an important part of the city's planning framework, which ensures all planning efforts are aligned and aimed at realizing our vision. Concurrent with the comprehensive plan development, Charlotte combined and updated its development regulations into the Unified Development Ordinance, or UDO. The UDO includes rules for what can be built and where in our city. These development regulations are an important tool and designed to ensure future development matches our vision for the future. The UDO will have an upcoming mapping component, which we will cover later in this presentation. The planning framework and development regulations work together to make our city more equitable and are Charlotte's blueprint for growth. So what are we trying to accomplish with community area planning? It is the next step in putting the Charlotte Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan into action. This means community area plans won't replace the comprehensive plan, but build upon it to provide more detailed guidance for smaller geographies. This effort will use larger planning boundaries to facilitate conversations among neighborhoods and address major barriers. It will also develop 14 plans, so no area is left waiting for this important guidance. The planning process includes 5 phases. The first 4 phases are scheduled to be completed over the next 2 years. Each phase of the process is associated with a key component or chapter of the draft plan. In Phase 1, we translated the comprehensive plan's goals to each community by identifying their needs for access to housing, jobs, goods and services, and environmental impacts. This work was completed in the winter of 2023 and is available in the community reports on the project website. In Phase 2, which runs throughout 2023, we will ensure future development supports the community's priorities by reviewing and refining the place type designations on the 2040 policy map. We may also identify additional land use or design guidance needed for key locations. In Phase 3, which begins and runs throughout 2024, we'll work with interdepartmental partners, such as the Charlotte Department of Transportation and Housing and Neighborhood Services, to identify infrastructure projects and supportive programs that are necessary for realizing the community's vision. Phase 4 will begin in the middle of 2024 and will produce an implementation strategy that outlines how the plan recommendations can be put into action over the next 5, 10, or 15 years. Review and adoption of the 14 draft plans is tentatively scheduled to begin in 2025. The expected outcome of this multi-year effort will be 14 draft plans that are intended to be used in future decision-making processes such as rezonings and capital investments. It is important to understand what area plans can and cannot do. They inform decision-making but do not create new rules or laws. They identify needed investments but don't provide the funding for them. They may recommend a zoning change but will not rezone a property. And finally, plans are intended to guide development, not stop it. Community input is critical to the success of this planning effort. There are and will continue to be a range of in-person and online opportunities to get involved throughout the next few years. In addition to today's workshop, you can join our mailing list, check out your community's report, and help identify important assets in your area using the community workbook. If you have questions along the way, a member of our team will be at a library near you each month. To learn more about sharing your voice, please visit the project website. How will community area planning affect your community? This process builds upon the work of the Comprehensive Plan, which identified the Southwest Middle geography as needing better access to housing choices, better access to goods and amenities, and a need to reduce environmental impacts. In Phase 2, we'll review the place type designations within the 2040 policy map for this geography. These designations are based on guidance from the Comprehensive Plan and significant input from the community. They were applied citywide to ensure future growth is aligned with infrastructure capacity and distributed equitably. In this process, we'll look for opportunities to refine the place type designations to provide better access to housing, goods and services, and mitigate environmental impacts in your area. Next year, in Phase 3, we'll return for another round of community workshops to discuss needed infrastructure projects and supportive programs here. I've mentioned place types several times. They are a tool for organizing patterns of development. They're more holistic than Charlotte's previous tool because they provide guidance for land use, design, mobility, and open space amenities. Place types will help ensure future development creates complete communities across our city. 10 place types were adopted within the Charlotte Future 2040 Comprehensive Plan. They are categorized into the places we live, work, and play. Each play an important role in realizing our vision for the future. However, several place types are more capable of improving access and mitigating environmental impacts. Therefore, today's place type discussions will primarily focus on the place types highlighted on the screen. When discussing today's meeting purpose, I mentioned there would be a future mapping effort for the Unified Development Ordinance, called Alignment Rezoning. Alignment rezoning will be informed in part by the place type designations within the community area plans and ultimately adopted into the 2040 policy map. Place types will inform alignment rezoning because place types and the UDO zoning districts were designed to work together. For each of the 10 place types, there is one or several zoning districts that codify the guidance within the place type. Many other standards in the UDO are also based on place types, but not tied to the zoning districts. The Alignment Rezoning Project will put development standards in place to achieve the vision of the Comprehensive Plan and Policy Map. It is an additional step and is needed to review how future zoning changes can best be aligned with the community's vision for future growth and development. The Unified Development Ordinance was adopted in August 2022 and will be effective June 1, 2023. The Alignment Rezoning Project is in early development. A recommended draft zoning map for conventional districts is tentatively scheduled for 2025. A recommended draft zoning map for conditional districts is expected in late 2025 or 2026. With that, let's talk about how you can shape the community area planning process today. Next up is a series of table discussions that are designed to collect feedback which will inform future refinements to place type designations, as well as next steps in the planning process. There are 3 different table discussions for this geography. Each discussion is expected to take 20 minutes. If you'd like to participate in all 3 discussions, please stand at the sound of the bell and rotate to a new table. You may choose to spend more or all of your time at one table. If this is the case, please stay seated during the rotation. The discussion materials will be made available online at the end of this week. You're welcome to provide additional feedback online, and we ask you to encourage others to participate. The 2023 workshop materials will be available online until December 29th, 2023. Staff is stationed at each table and will facilitate today's discussions. You can expect staff to walk you through 3 general steps. First, they'll review the intent and character of place types within an area. Second, the table will discuss relevant comprehensive plan goals. And 3, participants will be asked to provide feedback on the relevant issues within the area. Each discussion addresses different issues and therefore will include different reference materials. The discussions are focused on a specific location. However, they represent conditions that are found at multiple sites or in various geographies. Therefore, the feedback received throughout 2023 will inform changes to sites with similar conditions, not just the locations featured in today's discussion. The 3 table discussions for the Southwest Middle geography are 1, confirming the vision of campus along Nations Ford Road at E.E. Waddell High School. 2. Balancing priorities, neighborhoods adjacent to manufacturing at Steel Creek Road and Douglas Drive. 3. Imagining Community Activity Center and campus at Steel Creek Road and Brown Greer Road. Thank you for your time and attention during today's presentation. Staff will answer questions related to the community area planning effort in today's activity prior to setting the timer for the first discussion. We appreciate your participation in making Charlotte a more equitable city for all.